Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chef Talk. I'm your host, Brianna Williams, and on today's Chef Talk, we're talking all about the art of eating in season. As the springtime approaches, we really want to encourage students to take advantage of produce that are in season during this time of year and get to know how they can incorporate different produce into their diets based off of what's in season. Today we have Justin Gillete joining us. Justin is a district manager for Thompson Hospitality, where he oversees the areas of Alabama and Tennessee. Just for those of you out there who might not know, that includes some of our schools, including Oakwood University, Talladega College, and Tuskegee University. Welcome, Justin. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you today, Brianna? Thanks for having me.
Great. Thank you for being on the show today. We're excited for this conversation. And so as we talk about the art of eating in season, one thing I wanted to note is that you actually have a background in hospitality and in culinary. So if you could just briefly touch on that for us, just so we can get a better feel for your experience in the culinary industry.
Sure. Yes. So I actually went to college for culinary. I have associates in culinary and a bachelor's in food service management. And I've been a chef for the beginning half of my career. I would say the first 15 years of my career. I kind of traveled all over the world working and sourcing, as we're talking about today, fruits and vegetables that are in season to provide a customer with the best experience ever.
Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, my first question for you is, how can others benefit by being aware of what foods are in season?
So one way that others can benefit from knowing which fruits and vegetables are in season is the ability to eat healthier. Just because you have a pineapple during the winter doesn't mean that that pineapple has the most nutrients and vitamins that's needed, or that it could provide, say, if you was to get it during the summer months. Eating within season also gives you a better variety of fruits and vegetables for your diet, and also you're eating on a not so much on a pattern or eating the same items every season. Typically, you find that we do that, but when you eat within season, you have variety from different countries and states and regions within the United States and or the world that you can actually get that are ripe, great, juicy, and flavorful when they're at that peak versus when they're grown not in their proper season.
Definitely. And that's one important thing just to note is, especially with grocery stores, we see that a lot of the fruits and vegetables that we would like are somewhat available year round, depending on which grocery stores you go to, not realizing that, like you mentioned, just because we have it, it doesn't mean it's at the freshest or at the peak. We have to take into consideration the time it takes to harvest the produce, to the travel time to actually get it to our grocery stores. And, we don't understand that that time can really have a great impact on how fresh and how nutrient filled the produce are. So that's definitely interesting. So just into the next question, why are certain produce only available during different times of the year?
So it's based on how that fruit or vegetable thrive. For example, I would say cucumbers, tomatoes, a lot of your water soluble vegetables, including watermelon and honeydew, they grow during the summer when there's lots of rain. They live and thrive off of water. During the winter, there's not that much rain in these climates where those fruits and vegetables grow, and that's very important. Why you can and cannot have fruits and vegetables during certain seasons. And I would even throw in there herbs. All herbs do not grow during the winter months. Some don't grow during the fall months. You take rosemary; they'll grow year round, but they'll go dormant during the winter. But then when spring, all the way to the beginning of fall comes around, you have this vibrant plant. And it goes the same for green beans. Green beans love to have the sun and also plenty of water, because that's how it creates that the what is the word I'm looking for? The chlorophyll, which turns the uh, green bean green, which is the great color that we enjoy.
Right, definitely. And one thing also to note is, the location plays a big role as well into what grows at a certain time. Here I'm in Maryland, but we only have, of course, certain produce that grow here versus, if you go to California or Florida or anywhere else throughout the United States, that also plays a big role into that as well. So definitely something to keep in mind. Um,
Yes.
mhm. And so let me see here. So the next question I had for you is, how can students incorporate seasonal produce into their diet?
Well, one of the great things for students is the easiest way for them to incorporate fresh fruits and vegetables into their diet that are seasonal and local is just go into the dining hall and enjoy the salad bar and or have the vegetables that we take time to prepare on the meals on the different lines that we have on a daily basis. Outside of that, if you're a student and you stay in an apartment or off campus, well, I will always say go to your local grocery store. If your grocery store isn't that great, I strongly suggest go to Walmart. Why? Because Walmart has put in a plan to make sure that every one of their grocery departments has fresh, local, and sustainable fruits and vegetables that are in season. No matter if it's from, say, South America, but it's in season because it's summer down there and it's winter here in the northern hemisphere.
Mhm.
But that's my strongest suggestion for students to enjoy the wonderful food from the fruits and vegetables we have in the dining hall and or your local grocer or a Walmart. Everyone doesn't have access to a Trader Joe's and a Whole Foods and a Little and some of those more higher end grocery stores to be able to fully take heed to all that.
Definitely. That's one thing I was going to add. Definitely we want to encourage all the students out there watching to take advantage of the fresh produce and ingredients that we do offer at the dining halls. I know that right now, especially with COVID-19, the way we execute a little bit in the dining halls has changed in terms of what students can and can't get. But just to note that we are still offering fresh produce. You still can go to your dining hall and pick up fresh fruit, fresh salad, and just, be sure that you're getting the freshest ingredients when you're visiting the dining halls. So definitely continue to take advantage of that. And we're hoping that, in the next year or so, we're getting back to normal where you can enjoy the fresh salad bars that we previously offered, but definitely take advantage of that. All right. And so another question I just wanted to touch on is, how can people keep track of what items are actually available during each season?
So you can Google is always helpful, or the Farmer's Almanac. But also think of it like this: the colder it is, the more hardier the fruit or vegetable is going to be. What I mean by hardy is it's going to be kind of hard, you know. For example, greens, right? We all like collard greens, but collard greens are honestly a winter item. But through GMO, they've made it a year-round and or summer crop. Broccoli, asparagus. These items are, for the winter months. Even your yams and some of your sweet potatoes, yams and sweet potatoes are different, but they're cold weather items. And then you get into the summer and the spring, you have your squash, your zucchini, your tomatoes, your kale, your dinosaur kale, your purple leaf kale, and the variety goes on and on. But these items love the sun. Just like I would say, think of it as like the beach. The plants love the sun. A lot of these fruits and vegetables that we eat during the summer are actually good sources of water, and typically we love them because we're like, hey, this is light, and it's because it's the summer. That's what the summer does: is bring light fruits and vegetables to our life.
And one thing I also wanted to note is, I think we're going to be putting out some sort of calendar to help us, keep track of what produce are in season throughout the year, because there's so many that we don't even think of, and if you actually take time to look at it, and you don't realize how many produce that we're eating might not actually be at peak season when we're consuming them. So that's definitely something to keep a note of. So that's great. And the last question I had for you is, what are some of your personal favorite items, seasonal items rather, to cook with?
So some of my favorite seasonal items to cook with, out for me, is butternut squash, especially during the winter. I like to roast it with a little bit of garlic, and even though it's not in season at the time,
Mhm.
spinach. You know, mix that in with some butternut squash. During the summer, some of my favorite fruits, well, vegetables to cook with is actually romaine. I like to grill romaine and make a grilled Caesar salad, and also grill up some watermelon, top it with some feta and some what do you call it, balsamic vinegar. So like a little reduction to get like this sweet, salty, savory still going on. So those are my two that I enjoy. Um, I love to eat. I love to eat dragon fruit. Just haven't tried to cook with it yet, but hey, it's a great fruit.
That is really great. And when you said that, one thing I wanted to mention too, especially with the summer fruits, like you were talking about the watermelon or maybe peaches, for example, we enjoy them by themselves, but we can also cook those, adding them to salads, like you said, grilling them, and they're delicious. I've seen some really great ways to transform, watermelon or just other fruit like that, into something that's totally different. So get creative. We want to encourage everyone watching out there to get creative with your food, and realize that, for example, you mentioned butternut squash for the fall. A lot of times when we think fall, we think pumpkin or apples, but there are tons of other vegetables and fruit out there that are just as good and you can do so many things with. So definitely keep that in mind.
Yes, please keep that in mind. And like Brianna said, stay adventurous with the food.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Justin. This was a great discussion. I'm so happy that you took some time out to have it with us. Again, for all of our viewers watching out there, to stay up to date on everything happening with THTV, go over to our channel, like and subscribe to stay up to date on more YouTube videos coming your way. Again, this has been another episode of Chef Talk, and we'll see you in the next one.